Hi, Jacob. I saw on GoAsix that you're currently working on your master's. So, does having to deal with COVID-19 protocols like the testing and then the enforced guidelines, does that sort of add another layer to being a student athlete since you're already juggling a season and school amidst the pandemic?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been kind of lucky this year. My main focus has been my thesis, so that's a lot of personal research, and I'm on my computer most of the time. I haven't been in a classroom really this whole year, so I got kind of lucky that the pandemic fell on this because I'm just focusing on my thesis to graduate this December.
Hey, Jacob, what's the biggest difference been for you this season compared to last season when you got here?
Well, obviously we have the new head coach. We have Coach Hoke, but I've actually been with Coach Hoke more than any other coach in my college career. I had him my first year, and now these 2 years that I've been at San Diego State. So there's been the coaching change, but it's been a pretty smooth transition. So not a whole lot has changed. Same traditions, same ideals.
And what about the performance of the offensive line itself? It just seems like it's taken a step forward this year.
Yeah, well, we returned a lot of guys, and we have a lot of experience and a very tenured O-line coach that has kept the same teachings that we can fester on and grow. So it's been pretty easy.
So the guys who carry the ball get all the headlines, but is it all because of those guys on the line opening up the holes, or is it more the running backs themselves?
Oh, it's 50-50. We got a great running back core. You know, we got Bell. Bell's back for the first time in like 2 years, and he's doing great. And yeah, we got an experienced O-line, experienced running back core, so it's 50-50.
And what about getting the passing game going? Do you guys are there some things the offensive line has to do better in that regard, or where do you see that?
Oh yeah, it's a team thing for sure. The O-line has to protect better, and everybody has to do their job. Everybody does their job, then we'll have a passing game.
For when you look up at a defense, are they starting to stack the box more, or what do you have to do to prevent them from doing things like that?
Oh, we're used to a stack box just because of our reputation, especially those first two games and what we did to Utah State. So we're used to the box being stacked, and you just gotta. It comes down to doing your job and being an effective part of a machine that operates well.
What's it like to have so many tailbacks that are able to have so much success? I mean, you mentioned Greg, but obviously this whole group is 4 or 5 guys that have really been impactful already in 4 games. I mean, is that somewhat unique to have that many guys have so much success?
Oh, it's great to have so many weapons that you can rely on anybody, and it's a relief that you can be comfortable and know that whoever's in there is going to do their job, and it makes our lives a lot easier.
And then does your job change at all based on who the quarterback is, whether it's Carson, who obviously has started these 4 games, or Lucas, who came in there in the fourth quarter on Saturday?
Oh, not at all. I mean, this football team, especially among the ones I've been a part of, you're a role player. So if you're in, you're playing your role. Last year I started at 2 different positions. I'm at a third position this year. You fill your role and you do what you're taught. So whoever's in there, we have faith that they'll play their role and that we'll come out with a win.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. We go to Jake.
Hey, Jacob, I'm sure you guys as players don't care all that much when you're out on the field playing a game, but I don't know if you knew that you guys are going to be nationally broadcast this week. How nice is that, just at least for exposure for San Diego State, to show, what you guys can do and to prove to people that this is a top-tier program?
Oh, it's great. We all know it's a top tier program. I mean, that's why we came here, and it's nothing different. We're excited for the opportunity for people to watch us, but it still comes down to the game and winning the game because that's what really matters. But we're excited for the opportunity.
Is there anything better as an O-lineman than looking up and seeing you guys just dominating the rushing game week in and week out? I mean, I know it's fun to pass block and succeed, but there's got to be nothing better than run blocking and dominating at it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's the core of what an O-lineman does, and it feels pretty good to see those triple-digit numbers every week. So we strive to keep doing that, and yeah, we hope it keeps going. We're going to keep it going.
So, Jacob, I know when you first came to San Diego State, you were primarily playing tackle. So, how was that transition from tackle to guard? Was that difficult, or how was that experience for you?
Well, I was a guard pretty much my whole career, and then I stepped into tackle just because we needed a body. So I learned to play tackle, and I'm glad I'm back at guard. I feel like it's a better position for me, but it's not that hard. I mean, in order to be an O-lineman, you have to understand everybody's assignment, what everybody's doing, everybody's technique in order to truly function a good play. So the transition back was no different. You know the techniques and you know how to play it. So moving positions, honestly, is not as hard as I think people believe it is.
I'm not sure how much film you've studied on Nevada so far, but what are a couple of things you're expecting from that defensive front?
Yeah, well, they got a couple senior D linemen up front and a pretty good linebacker core, and they're 4-0, so they got a little juju, or they think they do, and we just got to bring it to them. It's going to be a dogfight, and yeah, we're excited. We got experience up front. They have experience up front, so let's get it.
Hey, Jacob, on that note, do you expect this to be one of the tougher tests you guys have faced in terms of trying to continue to run the ball the way that you have?
I mean, we prepare every week the same, so just because they play a certain way doesn't mean that we're going to have different intent. I mean, they're a good team, we're a good team, so preparing the same, trying to keep the same mentality that we've had.
And not trying to get you to choose sides on the QB competition, but what have you observed from Carson and Lucas as the competition has continued and seems to be ramping up a bit more this week?
Great team mentality from both of them. There's been no animosity toward one another. Whoever's in's going to give it their all, and whoever's not in's going to coach them up and make them better. So whoever's in there, like I said, they're both role players, so they'll have a good game. We have complete faith in both of them, and I have complete faith in both of them to make each other better.
Jonah, you faced a couple dual threat quarterbacks. This week it's a guy who just steps back in the pocket and starts winging it. What's the biggest challenges this week against Nevada?
Well, one of our D-line musts is always to affect the quarterback, and that hasn't changed throughout the season. I believe we put in plays that are going to help us get there, get home, and get our rushes going. So for us, it's preparing as a team. Our relationship with the backers are definitely growing week in and week out, and just playing with each other longer and longer helps us know where we're going.
Is it easier to go against a pocket passer in some ways, or is there something that also makes it more difficult?
A lot of quarterbacks have their own unique features. I know in the past couple games, we've struggled a lot against dual threats, but last game, we held our own. We put in new plays. We hustled a lot better to the ball, and it just worked out for us. This quarterback is he's got an arm. He's got the accuracy. He's a good pocket passer, and we just got to get home and affect him.
You think it's going to be more on the guys up front to get pressure on him, or more on the DBs to cover to give you guys time to get to him?
The DBs have been doing their job, not just this year but last year, because we have been returning them, a lot of them, 4 out of the 5 of them, and they've been giving us time to get there all year, especially last game where quarterback had a double clutch, and we had the time to get home.
We talked about this with Brady earlier, and he wanted to give his players a lot of credit for, staying away from parties, following COVID protocol, and that kind of stuff. When you see what happens to other schools like Arizona State and Utah and how their seasons can kind of be wiped out, personally, as a college student, how difficult is it for you? You're home Friday night, 11 o'clock, the call comes, let's go to a party, let's do this. How difficult is it for you guys to put that on the back burner and really focus on the bigger picture?
For a lot of the guys on their team, Coach Hoke really tells us that, we're playing for one another, especially for the seniors, to give their last shot, college football, but more importantly, just for the team. So sacrificing just that part of our college experience for however long this pandemic lasts is not nearly subsequential than having a senior sit out the rest of the season just because I wanted to have a little bit of fun.
Hey, Jonah, being a student athlete, you're juggling school, sports, and now you have to worry about COVID-related guidelines and testing. So has that been a challenge for you this season, kind of adjusting to that?
The guidelines have been definitely during the off season when, we were in a hot spot where we were having to get ready for a season 6 feet apart, wiping down a bag after every person uses it, and it just took time. But as the season's been going on, we've been getting used to it. The testing takes 5 minutes. They've been really upping their game in that and just helping us get the time that we need during the day.
And then for this week's game, looking at the film and knowing how well Carson Strong has performed so far this season, how much of a challenge does their offensive line pose?
They're returning 2 starters. They have a really good freshman at left tackle. Their other two, guard, center, are definitely solid players, but we're here to basically just dominate. That's definitely a D-line thing that we talk about every week, is that we have to outplay the O-line, we have to out-hustle them, and it showed last game. You can definitely tell the difference between our effort in there, some of the plays we had in San Jose, and the outcome was clear as day.
Hey, Jonah, I hope you're doing well. Coach Ho kind of mentioned that while you guys do go a week at a time, you do embrace each game for what it's worth. And given where Nevada is in the standings and where you guys are in the standings, are you guys embracing the kind of amplified importance of this game?
Every game to us, especially this season where there are only a couple of guaranteed games and you don't know whether, the next week can be played or the next week can be played. Every week this year has been crucial for us, and we're playing this like it's championship game every week. This would be number 5 for us, and we're just getting ready one week at a time.
And kind of on a sidebar, your guys' game got moved from CBS Sports Network to nationally televised CBS. I'm sure when you guys are in the game and you're playing, it absolutely means nothing. But leading up to it and just kind of knowing that you guys get to showcase San Diego State for the program that it is, the defense that you guys have, the run game that you guys have, how nice is that to kind of showcase your guys' school for the nation?
We don't really play for the clout that we get from that, but being able to be broadcasted across the country has definitely given us upstart in our in our engines. As a kid, a lot of people want to be on TV, and that was definitely me too. But whether it was this, whether it's not televised, we're all just gonna go out and play our game.
John, I believe you're from Manhattan Beach, which is close enough in an average year of being able to get home for a few hours at least, or a day for Thanksgiving. Given the circumstances this year, I would think you guys won't be able to go back home because you have to kind of stay in your local bubble. What's it going to be like to be away from home this year in that situation?
This is not the first Thanksgiving that I haven't had with my family, but my family's really close to each other, and we have had times we're all spread out, so we cherish the times that we're together, whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, or just a week during the year.
Since you have been apart, you said in the past at times, do you find a special way to make it special? Whether it's a phone call or something else, how do you guys still connect on that holiday?
My family always has a group chat going. Probably over 100 texts easily a day. Phone calls, FaceTimes. Sometimes we get visits, or at least I do because I am 2 hours out. Seeing my brother after the game, taking the time to just take the pictures, catch up just a little bit, whether we're getting yelled at by our coaches or not. It's just little things like that where it's, we know that family's still family and we're still close.
Do you guys know yet how you'll celebrate Thanksgiving next week?
So we did talk about it, and we have not decided at all because I believe we play on that Friday, so we'll be traveling. So I'll probably have an early Thanksgiving. Maybe a couple of my brothers will come down, my mom maybe, just come down. We'll have dinner, lunch or something, and then they'll head out to probably Hawaii and have Thanksgiving out there with my other brother.